Okay, welcome back for part 2 of our database note-taking lesson. We're going to start this portion of the lesson by looking at the note-taking grid. You have used a note-taking grid before, chances are really good. So with a note-taking grid, it divides the work of taking sources and paraphrasing those sources into two different phases. So we don't have to identify the useful information and put it in our own words simultaneously. We get to break it up and do it at two different times. For this portion of the project, we're just going to be focusing on the first 3 columns of the note-taking grid. We're going to be recording source information. You're going to be recording specific sections of an article that answer your research question. And then you are going to be identifying keywords if necessary. We are not paraphrasing or summarizing today. Your teacher will give you directions on paraphrasing or summarizing at a later date. You will not need to paraphrase every single note that you put in your grid. So please try and hold off on paraphrasing until a little bit later in the project. So let's talk about these different sections of the grid. I'm going to open my example note-taking grid. And we're just going to go through really quickly the process of adding a new note. So on your note-taking grid, it's probably divided, you're going to want to rather divide it into 2 sections. So you have 2 research questions. So on the first page, you're going to type your first research question. That should be 1/2 of your viewpoint pair. And then you're going to scroll down and you are going to type in your second research question, and that's the other half of your viewpoint pair. So I've got my article, and I have decided that this portion is going to be helpful. It talks about how removing junk food or preventing the sale of junk food on the vending machine has hurt a school district economically. So I'm going to highlight the section I want, and I'm going to do Control Copy. If you're on a Chromebook, you can do Control C. And then I'm going to go to my note-taking grid, and I am going to paste that section of the article. The other thing I need to do is I need to get the source information. So the easiest way to get the source information, there's actually 2 places. But since your EasyBib tab is open, let's just use the EasyBib tab. You are going to write whatever comes first in the citation EasyBib comes up with. So if there's a person's name there, you are going to copy their name. I'm just going to do Control C, and I'm going to paste that in my left-hand column. If there's no name listed, then I'm going to copy and paste the article title in my note-taking grid. Okay, it depends on what comes first in the citation. If you don't happen to have EasyBib open, the other place you can get the citation information is to scroll all the way to the end of the article. It's the very, very last thing, and it'll say source citation. Okay, I'm scrolled all the way down. I can't scroll any further. It's the very last thing. So it's the same exact citation that got put into EasyBib. There it is in EasyBib. Here it is at the end of the article. And to figure out what goes in the left-hand column, once again, I'm just going to write whatever's listed first. If there's a person's name first, I'm going to put the person's name here. Or like this example, there wasn't a person's name. There was just an article title. So that's what I pasted in the source information box. You also have the option of identifying keywords. You don't have to have keywords for every single copy and paste, but if you see some that you think will make useful search terms, go ahead and include those. So your goals over the next 2 days are probably to come up with 6 to 10 rows of notes that answer both of your questions. So altogether, you should have 6 to 10 notes. If you find that you're getting like 75% of your notes answer one question and only 25% of your notes answer another question, that's okay. Just as long as all together you have 10 to 12 notes over today and tomorrow. That's your goal, 10 to 12 notes. So we are going to wind up here and stop for this lesson, and then the next day in class you'll have more time to continue working with these database articles. And that's it.